We have got to make a bearing presser out of these two pieces of steel, this awesome Feronius 2200 trans steel for this rear Toyota Corolla 2007 axle bushing. Hello and welcome to another Budget and Leggit video. Right, we've got two pieces of steel down here. This one about 1.5 inches, so what's that, like 40 mil, and then we've got an 80 mil one there, which is about 3 inches for you Americans. And what we're going to basically do is we're going to make a press that's going to allow me to press this in. As you can see, we can't just use things like ordinary like wheel bearings and sockets and stuff like that because of this big huge rubber part here. It's like a C shape, so we can't just use something ordinary. I've got an idea in my head of what I'm going to do, so we're gonna try and make it. I've got to do the job tomorrow. I've seen some kits out there. I've seen some kind of cheaper kits out there for around about 220 odd euros, up to over 600 euros, depending on what brand you buy. This is the only one I've ever done. I would normally just go out and buy the kits, but then I thought, you know what, not everyone's going to do that. So, you know, most people who tinker around with cars have some sort of welder at home, and they maybe have some sort of offcuts of steel. So we're going to make it. There's a few more things I haven't got here. I need a threaded bar and a few other things that I've kind of got in mind. I'm going to be using my, you just see it down there, my cut 60. Just because it's going to be easier to cut kind of a C channel out of here, out of this steel, because it is quite thick. It's like 5 mil and 3 mil. And it's just going to be easier to plasma cut it than using cutting discs. And then my awesome trans steel 2200 Feronius welder. And if you want to see how we made this awesome welding cart, I've done videos on that too. Holds 2 bottles of gas. This welder takes 2 bottles of gas at the same time as well, which is awesome. Anyway, let me get a bit more set up and I'll kind of give you the plan that I'm going for. Right, so let me go through the idea I have. I want to get some kind of a C-shaped channel to sit in on top of there, and then build up some legs and then put another flat plate on top so I can actually push it down, and then the C channel will be pushing down on the bearing. But the issue I think I'm going to have is because of the way it's not, I can't get this perfect in the middle, it's going to want to kick up the bearing, and the bearing's going to want to be going in at an angle, which is obviously no good. So I need to cut out this shape here, and that should fit in and around there, and this thickness should sit nicely around here. And then here somewhere, this might be too big and I'm not 100% sure where the hole is yet. Could actually even be too small. Looking at that. No, should be okay. That's going to be like this. So it's going to be hanging over that end. Should be alright. Somewhere there is going to be a hole. Then, once I've done the 2 plates up here, I'm going to put another plate down here with a hole in, because obviously that's sticking out, with another lip sticking out here, so I can put basically a big bolt through there to stop the bearing kicking up, and then with a basic and another nut and bolt through the middle, which will push the bearing into place. That might not make sense, but it will in a minute. So I need one of these. I then need a couple of these sticking up here, so I'm going to maybe put 1, 2, 3 there sticking up, then another flat plate to go across the whole top, and then basically a flat plate with a hole in the middle to go along the bottom. But what we need to be careful of is once you start welding steel, it changes the structure of it, and it's a bloody nightmare to drill. So you want to kind of get all your drilling out of the way as soon as you can. I'm going to cut all this out first. Even cutting it out causes heat, causing issues. So what I might do is I might cut this hole first, because it's just going to be easier to drill than it is when it heats up and gets this a lot tougher. Or should I risk it till after I cut it? It's typical. I've got 2 new packs of drill bits. and I cannot find them. So I'm just going to eyeball this. Doesn't need to be perfectly in the middle, but what I did there, was I perfectly in the middle? 5mm. 26, but I was a mil off by eye. It's alright, isn't it? This is the size I actually need. I think it's the biggest drill bit I have that I can find, so hopefully it's big enough and hopefully it's good. I'm waiting for the comments. You should have used some lube. I was taking a tiny bit off each time. Awesome. That is perfect. Oh, you fucking arsehole. Oh, I just ripped my fucking wrist. Oh. Fuck you. Oh. Fucking dickhead. Absolute dickhead. Where's that fucking drill bit gone? Drill's still okay. Yeah. Trying to make the hole a bit wider. Wasn't designed for what I was doing. Oh, that was a good drill bit. 15 quid. Down the Swanee. What a knob. My own fault, because that's not what a drill bit's designed to do. I know. Oh, and of course it's left a burr now. You ever had just one of them days? But to be fair, it's all your own fault. Can't blame the equipment. It's my fucking fault. Anyway, that's a bit better now. It was just the perfect size before. It was a bit too tight. It's nice to get a bit of wiggle room.
That's what she said.
Alright, let me get the plasma cutter set up. Right, I've got everything set up, I think. And you really don't want to be doing this freehand. No. My nozzle's blocked. See if it'll still cut. Nope. Bagger. That's a bit better. Not happy. No, it's not right. This should be going through this like batter. Let me get different nozzles or new nozzles. Just making a mess. Alright, I think I got it now. New hardware on. There's the old one. There's the old tip. No. You've not got enough air pressure. Fuck you, and fuck you again. Fucking hell. I have to round off these edges because they're sticking out too much. It's not allowing this in. That's a bit better. Let me just clean this up by hand. I got new tips for that and they haven't worked well. They're just shit. It's not the machine, it's the tips I got. I'm going to clean this up with the grinder. I'll turn the camera back on and we'll see what it looks like. It's always the way, innit? You just come down thinking it's going to take you an hour or so to do a job and it just turns into a fucking nightmare. Anyway, that's looking a lot better now. I need to get new tips for my plasma cutter and then it'll be fine. So what I had planned to do is to cut that out, but actually I'm not going to cut this out now. I'm just going to cut straight across here. And then what I was trying to explain before is making another plate that comes over the top of here and then welding the little legs to it so it's like a little sandwich. So once this goes down, it all goes down together. I might, so I can't really get anything on there. So what I got to do is I'm just going to cut this off here. I'm not going to cut this off here. I'm not going to make these go inside them white lines, because when I put my little uprights on, I can put my uprights, I can weld my uprights to here. It gives me a bit more meat to weld my uprights to. So essentially what I need to do is I need to cut this out, flip this around and cut another plate out this exact same shape, but without this inlet here, just this hole here. So I'm going to do that off camera and I'll show you what I mean then. Yeah, that's going to work, innit? Yeah, because that'll push down there. Yeah, it's going to work. Right, I wasn't going to show this, but I thought it was a good tip. So when you've got two pieces of metal, wood, whatever, and you want to get the hole in the same place, even though this is longer, the second piece, but we still want the hole in the same place at the back, put the old piece on, but don't be tempted to get your new drill bit or your first drill bit and drill a hole in, because the chances of you getting it in the middle is quite slim. Get your full size drill bit, the same size as the hole, and just mark it like a little center punch, but it will self-center. And then get your drill bit you're going to use first, and then that drill bit now will not slip. And we can drill our holes, 3 holes, 4 holes, however many it may be. Let me just drill this, cut this off, and I'll turn the camera back on. Let's see, so you can kind of make some sense of this. This plate goes on the bottom, or on the top should I say, but on the bottom part of the top. This plate then goes on the top, and you can see the gap we've got between there. I'm going to make, out of the smaller steel, I'm going to make some little spaces in there to weld them to stop this doing that. And then we need to drill a hole in the middle here. Then we need another plate at the bottom, and then this plate will push the bearing against the other plate and push it in place, if that makes sense. And what I'm hoping this plate's going to do is, because I'm going to put this threaded bar all the way through, and through the bottom plate and through the top plate here, like that, right, I'm hoping that that's going to stop this wanting to lift up this way and push the bearing in at an angle. That's what I'm hoping. So now what I got to work out is, well, actually what I got to do is I got to drill, I got to work out my hole here, drill that. It's going to be the same size as this. And once I've drilled that hole, I'm going to nut and bolt that in together, nut and bolt that in together. That'll give me my perfect spacing. Then I'm going to make my spacers to go in there. So there's going to be one here, one here. There might actually be 4. So, well, there might actually be 5. So there's going to be, say, 1 here in the middle, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 there. So there'll be 5 in the shape of a 5 on the dice. That's what it's going to be. That should give me plenty of strength in it then. That's the plan. So let me just set this up, drill my next hole, and then we'll make a bottom plate, weld it all together. Hopefully now you're going to get an idea of what I'm doing. So I'm getting all the bolts on so I know the exact space in between here, just in case this is slightly at an angle. I know what you might be thinking, well, hold on, why not just put a big plate around here and push it down there? Well, because the problem is you're pushing all on the rubber part of the bearing, which potentially could damage it and snap it, and then you're in trouble again. So with this method, as I push down on here, it's going to push down on the bottom plate, which is pushing down on the metal part of the bearing. So it should hopefully, or bushing, sorry, it should hopefully push it down. And with my bottom plate in at the bottom with the hole cut out somewhere down here, that should allow us to pull off the bottom plate as well. So all I'm going to now do, again off camera, I'm just going to cut my little spacers, 5 of them, and I'm going to do it inside. I'm not going to weld it on the outside. I'm going to do it inside, so it's really pushing down as far into there as possible. So we're going to do 1 in the middle lengthways, and then basically 1 on each corner, and I'm classing this here as a corner. Actually, oh, hold on, I might be able to get 1 there. Yeah, so literally 1 in the middle and then 1 literally in each corner, which would be better because then it's pushing directly down underneath that bolt. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And I'm using, so 1 there, 1 there, 1 in the middle. This is thick, boy!
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick ass boy!
Yeah, that's going to work. That's going to work. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Maybe that's too thick. Should I just cut some of this plate? Because, yeah, don't know. I'll decide in a minute. Right, hopefully now you can see. I can't move this because they're not even welded on, they're just placed on. So this then, this plate here will sit on top. Oh no, I'm going to have to weld it like that, aren't I? Now I'm going to weld this now. I don't think it'll matter. If I weld, I'm going to have to weld this one in first. I'm not going to be able to weld the top and bottom with this one because I'm not going to be able to get in with the welder, and I'm going to, oh, I'm only going to be able to weld one side on the outside. If I think about it, not that that's not going to make any difference. It's not as if we're not talking, it's just to help. Oh, push down. So essentially they're going to go in there. They're going to go in there like that, and as long as I can even weld on the outside, that should be enough. I might just put them in a little bit so I can get a bead. I could chamfer these edges and put a nicer bead in, but there's no point. So if I just set them in there a little bit, then once that comes down, oh, I can't do it like that. That'll hold itself in. I'll move them in a little bit and I'll get a nice bead on 2 sides of them. it's not going bloody anywhere. So let me get the welder set up, and yeah, we'll go from there. Right, this is the top nearly done. So I've just tack welded it in, so I put it all back together and tack weld it in so I know everything's in the right place. I obviously can't weld it inside here because I'm just going to burn this and destroy this new bushing, which is new. So what I'm going to do now is just weld these edges up, and then that is our top part made. Very overkill, but look, it's going to work. Not the greatest welder in the world, but it'll do. But I've said this before in other videos. Just look at this. This welder, Fronius welder, the soft start on this welder is phenomenal. I was welding at 4mm steel. The cool thing about this is it's got synergy mode. So if I want to change the thickness of the steel, look, if I want to go to say 1mm, boom, 1mm, 1.2, boom, 1.2, 2.9, and so on and so on. It changes everything for me, wire speeds, amps, you name it, absolutely everything. But I was also on a 50-meter extension lead, so obviously it's all unraveled so it doesn't heat up like a coil, in an old mushroom house, and it didn't blow the fuse, didn't do anything. I mean, these Fronius welders are just unbelievable. So we're going to wait for that to cool down. All I've got to do now is essentially the bottom plate, and we have made our little press. Right, like an absolute idiot, I thought the bushing went in one way. And it actually goes in another way. I've just looked at the picture. I've only got the picture of the axle. I haven't got the car or the axle here, because I was hoping to make this today and do the job tomorrow. But when you look at it, the bushing goes in the other way. So this part here, this long part here that I've made, is going to sit and hit the actual axle. So this isn't going to be able to go all the way down, because it's going to be like that at an angle. So I've been looking at this thinking, what am I going to do? If I just looked at the fucking axle picture properly, I would have been alright. I'm going to cut this basically in half. So I'm going to cut this just across here, because this part is still good. It's all this part, say from where my finger ends, so from here to here, which is going to be in the way. So if I cut essentially, where are we looking? So in the middle here, right, where I put them two bars. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put two wings coming out here, one coming out here, one coming out there, with holes in them that will line up with the bottom plate. So we have the center hole, which is here, which will be pushing down the bearing, and we'll have two holes either side, like two little wings, that will stop this and the bushing going at a weird angle. So it's going to sit it down nicely. So I'm just going to cut this in half now. I'm going to make up two wings, and I'm going to make up the bottom plate, and then I'm going to show you what I've done. And then hopefully, so I'm thinking, should I wait until tomorrow, until I've got the car here, or should I just go for it? I think I should just go for it. What do you think? I mean, let me know down in the comments, but even though it's going to be too late, because it's going to be like a year before you see this video anyway, so it's going to make no difference. Okay, no one's going to believe this. I did a video, I don't know how long ago it was, on doing some axle, or doing some front subframe bushings on a Vauxhall, Vivero, Nissan Prima Star, they're all the same. And I said the tool was really expensive, and what I did was, ages ago, I brought this tool because it was really cheap, secondhand. I think it was like a tenner, and it happened to fit that bushing, even though it's not for it, but it fitted it, because the original tool was very expensive. Same kind of reason why I'm doing this. So I've now realised that doing all these wings and all that sort of stuff, there's just no need. I have cut it off, and I think this is going to work absolutely perfect. So essentially what happens is this comes in here like that, look, sits in on there nice and flat all the way around. So that's going to be pushing down along here really nice. Then we just need something underneath to allow the bushing to come through, and I was going to get a plate like this, drill a big hole in the bottom to allow this to come through, but then if I do that I'm not going to have any space for the bar to come through. So then I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have to build something up on here, and it was just really getting kind of stupid. And I'm thinking to myself, I've got a load of tools here that's going to work. What I was trying to look for, because I was still going to make it just to complete the video, but I can't find it because this place is in an absolute mess at the minute, and I'm not really set up properly. I don't really work from here. This is just more of a storage thing. If I had my bucket of old bearings, old wheel bearings, it would have been perfect, because what I would have done is I would have got the right size wheel bearing that would have gone over this. I could have put a plate over the top of it, drill a hole, put some things on the side, just stop it from moving. It would have been perfect. But look what I found. So when that sits in there, this kit has come back to use again, like you wouldn't believe. Oh, motherfucker. Ooh. Oh yeah. And look at this. This cutout fits that absolutely perfect. Can you Adam and Eve it? And it leaves the space in there. But what's going to happen is, because this is really close, this part of here is going to sit on to the back axle of the car. So this is essentially what I was going to make out of an old bearing. So I was going to get an old bearing, I was going to cut some little wings in it so it can sit over the top of it so it doesn't slip off, and then weld a plate on the top and drill a hole, but leave a gap here so this, because this has to stick through, so that will stick through and it'll be perfect. But this, that's going to work perfect for me. So with these two now, like that, this is going to be absolute bob on, and I get to use the bearings that came in the tool as well. So this, well, I say that, was that gonna, oh, look at that. All right, hold on, let me see if this actually fits. It fits through, I just don't know if there's enough threads on it, so I might have to space it out, get some washers or some nuts and bolts on here to space it out to give me more threads, but we'll worry about that tomorrow. Because yeah, I just don't think there's enough threads, but it's gonna work. It's a shame I can't find an old bearing, because I will do it eventually, make this and keep this as a complete kit so it's just on its own, kind of handy. It looks terrible, welding is terrible, but it's gonna work. So it's all, I had all these bits lying around, so it really didn't cost me anything apart from a couple of hours messing around. And most people that, you know, mess around with cars, they're gonna have welders, they're gonna have angle grinders, maybe not the same welders as me. You know, Lidl's and Aldi's, they sell some, you know, cheap welders out there. So, you know, MIG welders now really aren't, they're not really an expensive thing. And with the amount of money you could save making this, you can afford to buy a MIG welder and a plasma cutter, and you're still going to be up. So if you think of it that way, and then you'll always have a welder and you'll always have a plasma cutter. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to tidy up now. That's this done, sorted. We've got the tool made, which is good. So as always, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most important, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted.